if you listen to Mortal Kombat 11, they're amazing voiceover actors, but
Yeah.
they're all kind of badass. Like they all have that badass voice. So it's like
Yeah.
I guess it's just have to try to sound as badass as they are.
How has it been for you this year? How, like, I know you have been doing a lot of stuff, like, and especially for Mortal Kombat came out. So how has it been for
Yeah.
you?
This year has been good. I started off being on Broadway, which was
Yeah.
a first for me, in a play called Life of Pi.
Yeah.
Um, and then that closed, and then yeah, Mortal Kombat 1 came out. And so yeah, that was fun. I got to meet Dominic Cianciolo, who's the
Yeah.
director, voice director and story director of Mortal Kombat 1 in New York. And so I had
Oh.
coffee with him, got to meet him in person because it was always been voice the booth,
Yeah.
so it's been remote.
Mm.
So yeah, it's been a good year.
Yeah. I mean, I know you mentioned Life of Pi, Broadway. Like, how was that whole show like? Like, I know you guys did like just a good amount of show. It was a good show. It was a great thing, as I said, first time for you. What was it like for you to do that?
Um, yeah, you do this acting thing long enough, you kind of get jaded, not jaded, but like realistic about things.
Mm.
And so going in, I thought, oh, Broadway is just another theater. It's just space.
Yeah.
But with more money, so that's good. But doing it, the theater is just so beautiful on Broadway. There's history to it, and it was just a really cool experience. And Broadway, they do the whole red carpet thing, and
Yeah.
opening is a big deal. There's a press day where you answer a lot of questions, kind of like this for press. Yeah, it was a big deal, and we won 3 Tonys, and then we
Yeah.
closed like a month later. So it's very confusing. Yeah, a show can win Tonys for
And
best
then,
design, blah blah blah, and then they're like, "We're not making enough money. We have to close." It's like, okay,
oh
I
man.
guess. I guess that's how that works.
I mean, this is great. What, like, how did this all happen in the first place to do a Broadway show? How did you get to say like, okay, let's try this out. Let's go with this.
Yeah, well, we actors, we just get auditions from different kinds of places. I used to do, well, yeah, I've done theater a lot at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. So I've done Shakespeare and yeah, this came along. They had done this show in UK, in London first, at the West End. And yeah, it was coming to American Repertory Theater in Boston first,
Oh.
which is a lot of theaters, like there's like a trial period
Hmm.
where before coming to Broadway, to see if it can go to Broadway. But this one, it got puppets. There's a lot of theater magic to it,
Yeah.
and it was doing well at the West End, so it was kind of obvious that it was going to go to Broadway. We were the cast was very optimistic about it. So yeah, first it's like, okay, we're going to do the show in Boston first and see if it goes to Broadway. Before our first rehearsal, there was an email sent out like, yeah, we're going to go to Broadway, or the show's going to go to Broadway. I don't know if the actors will, but the show will. But we were like, okay, yeah, we can't, we don't know. Nothing is certain until
Hmm.
it's, signed.
Yeah.
But we were confident that if the show is good, if the show is successful, we're going to be on Broadway. So, that's always fun. But yeah, I just auditioned for it, and they needed it's always the case where whenever they need a Japanese actor
Hmm.
and I fit the bill, I don't always get the part, but I have more of a chance to get the part.
Yeah.
Kind of like with Ghost of Tsushima, they needed a Japanese actor
Hmm.
for this big role, and I just fit the bill. And
Yeah.
and this was the case as well on Broadway.
It's crazy with Mortal Kombat, especially. It's been such a great Mortal Kombat is such a huge franchise in itself. It's been going on for so many years, and now with the reboot and then going a completely different direction. What is it like for you after finding out that the game is out right now? Like, what is it like
Mhm.
for you after recording all these sessions? And so, what do you feel right now? Like now finally the game is out there.
Um, it's really cool to be part of this big old franchise. And the story is so big. I mean, I feel very lucky to be voicing Scorpion. But everybody knows like Scorpion, even though sometimes he's like the face of the franchise, right, or one of
Yeah,
the faces, main faces of the franchise. But if you play the story mode, he plays a every chapter is it's a
yeah,
different character.
yeah,
So he plays a very small role in it. And yeah, I mean, working on it, I really didn't record much because like if you divide up the lines in the story, like everybody gets their own little moment and
mhm,
then they move on to the next character. So
yeah,
I just feel lucky to be just be a small part of this really big world.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
an insane world, and I really love the way the game, especially this one, looks, because like the previous game
Mhm.
looked really great, and now they changed the way it looks and everything with graphics and all that. It just looks really cool, and I never expected to go like they will go in a different direction. I thought it's gonna be the same as how the previous game was. Did was like how much were you were into like the story, or like did you know much more about the world of Mortal Kombat? Or was it like mostly about like what you have seen in the internet overall?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the last time I played Mortal Kombat was on my Game Gear, the Sega
Oh,
Game Gear. It was
ha,
Mortal Kombat
nice.
2. I beat the game like with all the characters, and I was really into it at the time. But I hadn't played Mortal Kombat since then. So coming back to it, yeah, I had to like watch a bunch of cutscenes that came before, like for Mortal Kombat 9, 10, 11. But again, the director Dominic was reassured me that it's a new timeline,
Yeah.
and that's why we have a bunch of new actors. A lot of the characters are like younger sounding too
Mhm.
because of the it's a
Yeah.
new universe. But yeah, I mean, kind of a spoiler, but if you played the game, it's a reboot, but it's also kind of a sequel.
Yeah.
So to Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat 11. So yeah, it was good that I did I did my research, and I keep doing research. Then the more I get involved with
Yeah.
the franchise, the more I learn. Yeah, because there's so many characters, and I'm
Oh
like, I don't
man.
know who this.
There's a lot of characters. It's just crazy, and they keep on. They've added even more with, especially with the DLC, that they've added more other characters from other universes. Let's say like the Peacemaker
Yeah,
and Invincible and all these characters from there have also come around. So it's insane. And
yeah,
as you mentioned before, like Scorpion and Sub Zero, these two guys were like kind of like the face of Mortal Kombat, and everybody would jump into it and just play those guys. And for some reason everybody just loves their story first. They want to know like, yeah, Scorpion, that's that guy's story with Sub Zero. It's insane. And everybody
yeah.
somehow whenever the gameplay comes out, it's always the Sub Zero and Scorpion fighting against each other. That has to be it.
Mm.
So like when you were doing the voice, I mean, doing the recording for Scorpion, what was your process like to how did you got into that, like kind of the character itself?
Yeah. So my research was, the I wanted to honor whatever the most recent Scorpion was. The
Yeah.
interesting, obviously, development with this reboot is that he's both essentially the old Sub Zero
Yeah.
and Scorpion, whatever that
Yeah.
means, because he's Kuai Liang, who used to be Sub Zero. So I listened to both of them and just kind of, try to find. I mean, they all, if you listen to Mortal Kombat 11, they're amazing voiceover actors, but
Yeah.
they're all kind of badass. Like they all have that badass voice. So it's like
Yeah.
I guess it's just have to try to sound as badass as they are. um, but with this character though, it's because he doesn't have the same backstory as the previous Scorpions, which is
Yeah.
like his family being killed by Sub Zero or
Mm.
Quan Chi or whatever. Uh, that's like his this whole backstory. Like
Yeah.
that's his defining past. And because it's not there as far as we know yet.
Yeah.
so far. I mean, um, so so yeah, I had to take the honorable side of Kuai Liang, which I think is obvious in the previous games. And
Yeah.
then I think when he gets betrayed or he learns the betrayal by Sub-Zero, that's when his vengefulness comes out. That's when his scorpion side comes out. And I think they did a very good job of. I kind of pat myself on the back because I heard that. I was like, oh, he kind of changes
Yeah.
in the middle of the story. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm coming from with the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's yeah. The one before in Mortal Kombat 11, I really like Scorpion and Sub Zero. It's as I
Mm.
said, like their voices were badasses. You just felt, I just loved, for some reason, I just loved listening to Sub Zero's voice. It was just like, this is great. Like, where is he? Like, what is this voice? How is it so good? And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
with this, and I think you did a great job as Scorpion. I think you just nailed it with the younger version, how where they were aiming for. I think you nailed with that
Oh,
version of
thanks.
it. I just love that. Loved your voice as well in this one, and I love this part where, because usually Scorpion is kind of like seen as like the villain most of the time, and
Mm.
here is like Sub Zero is taken as that kind of the villain who betrayed Scorpion, and that's how it kind of went. So, like, when did you get to first see like how the game all looks like and how your character looks like?
Yeah, I got to the first, few voiceover sessions. I didn't get to see anything, but the last maybe couple times, Dominic would show me the cutscenes that they had been working on, and so I had seen, I think the fight between him and Sub Zero. I saw that,
Oh,
and I thought that's really cool. And obviously, I've played the game now, so I've seen the whole thing, and yeah, it's just so beautiful.
yeah.
And what I learned is that they have essentially, I don't know about all the characters, but they, at least with my character, I think there's four people working on it, or
Hmm.
four people to make one character because it's my voice. There's the acting mocap,
Yeah.
uh, performance capture. There's the likeness of that face,
Hmm.
and then there's the fight, the
Yeah.
mocap for the fight choreography. Um, which
That's
is yeah, it's kind of insane, but it takes a village to create
yeah.
one character.
One character, everything about one character takes 4 to 5. That's insane. That's a lot of people to
Yeah.
work on that one character.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe there's an overlap between, I can imagine a fighting stunt person being the actor performing the scenes, but
Yeah.
who knows? I have no idea. I kind of wish that I was in one of these, mocap scenes. But I wonder if they're all like buff like the characters, because I'm definitely not that. Their arms are huge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm
but
not that.
but I mean, you would be interested in being like doing your like kind of like the choreography of fight scenes and stuff like that, or would you be interested?
No, no, not the fight scenes, just the scenes where they're just talking.
Okay.
That I can do. I mean, that was the same thing with Ghosts too. It's like,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
the fighting. Sometimes they ask me like, "Did you do the fighting too?" And I'm like, "No, just the cutscenes."
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, fighting would be something whole different level of skills, and it's just I don't know how they do that.
exactly.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the choreography in Mortal Kombat 1 is just it's really good. I mean, that's part
Yeah.
of the story is that they tell a story with fighting. So,
Yeah, that's true.
um, yeah, and I'm sure they use the real people, real stunt people to do
Yeah,
that. And
yeah, and they
yeah.
nailed it. I think they've done like such a great job with the
Oh
choreography.
yeah.
And I know like in this game we had like those close up recordings as well when two characters kind of do a close up and stuff like that. That was
Yeah.
something new. What was that like? Like I guess you have to record like a bunch of with one character. You have to record a bunch of lines and then you move on to the next character. Like what was that like? What was that process like for you?
Yeah, so those are kind of, well, Scorpion voice in general is kind of hard, but that one especially is kind of hard because it's like very much there's a lot of tension,
Hmm. Yeah.
so I put a lot of, vocal strain or vocal texture to it. And so I feel like after an hour or so, like I start losing my voice gets tired
Yeah, yeah.
because I'm always like, because it's like I just imagine these characters, they all end in death, with some kind of fatality.
Yeah.
So it's like everything is life and death. And
Yeah.
so I try to put that in the voice. And so yeah, I get tired and I get kind of scared by the end of the session. It's like, how much longer do I have of these lines?
Can we cut this
Uh
off a little bit? Just keep less
yeah.
lines.
Yeah. Luckily they're not like that, it's not the whole
Mm.
paragraph that I'm saying. So that helps. But yeah, it's intense.
Yeah, I
These lines
mean,
are yeah.
yeah. Now you just do that. You mentioned it, like it must be super straining for you because he has Scorpion has like a particular texture to the voice that you
Yeah.
have to bring. So it must be like a lot of. It must be very hard to you to keep that up, keep that voice for a longer
Yeah.
period of time. Like, I cannot
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, that's I imagine him because he's all about fire, so I'm just
Yeah.
imagining fire and vengeance all the time. And like I said, like even the story mode, a lot of the lines are coming at a when they're really angry.
Mm.
So yeah, there's a lot of heat in a lot of the lines.
Yeah. Do you have
Yeah.
like a line that you really remember, like you really liked, like, oh, this was a good moment or something like that?
Oh, it's in the trailer. Something about flames of Kuai Liang.
Oh,
No, flames of Ling Kuei.
yeah.
Oh, are not easily. All I can think of is the "Get Over Here," which I
Hmm.
recorded, but I don't think they used because it sounds like the classic Ed Boon "Get Over Here,"
Ah,
which I totally understand. Like you gotta stick with even in the movies, like the
hmm.
"Get Over Here" is like his voice.
Yes, was, yeah. I think it's very
So it's like
iconic. I think everybody, if it's a
yeah,
scorpion, it has to be in that
yeah,
particular way. And
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
I love that. It's just pretty cool. And I think like "Get Over Here" is something that if a scorpion, he has to go with it.
yeah.
He has to say that
Get
one
over
line.
here and come here. But it's funny because they humor me because I did record them. It's like, yeah, you give it a try. See if and yeah, I thought I sounded like him, but yeah, not close enough. Not yeah.
That's not cool. I think that should have been added, and I think that I would love. I think in the trailer or somewhere, I think I did hear it like a bit of it, and I was like, okay, this is great. I really like the sound of it, and I don't
Mhm.
remember if it was ever in the fighting that I had in the story mode. I never heard it, but like, it would
Yeah.
be great to have that. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to hear it just to see how I did, because I tried to sound as close to the
Yeah.
the classic
Mhm.
way of saying it. So I'm sure I got close. But one of now that I'm thinking about it, one of the lines I liked in the story mode was between him and Smoke, and he
Oh,
says like, "We don't share blood, but we are brothers,"
yeah.
which is it's just a kind of a callback to I believe Mortal Kombat
Mm.
9 or 10, one of those
Yeah.
between him and I think Sub Zero and somebody else. But anyway, yeah, I
Yeah.
like that line as well.
Yeah, that was a cool line. I did not expect Scorpion to say like, okay, we are might not be blood, but we are brothers. I was like, oh, okay. I did not expect Scorpion to have like this good side because I've always seen Scorpion as like the bad guy, as I mentioned. I never saw him
Right?
like
Yeah.
kind of like the good guy, and I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I
Yeah.
love it. uh, is it
Yeah.
is it ever like
Hmm.
hard for you to like listen back to your own lines or on your own cutscenes? Is it hard for you to watch them? Because I feel like I know like few actors is like they like immediately criticize their own like what they did and it's all of that. Do you have that moment or is it like it's okay?
In video games and voices, I don't. I think with Ghost it was harder because they're using my likeness.
Mm, yeah.
Um, and I think I know that there's some live action stuff that I've done in the past. One of them is NCIS Hawaii.
Uh,
I still haven't watched the episode, and if I was a good actor, good serious actor, I should watch my own stuff to get better at it. But I just whenever I would try, and as soon as I come up on screen, I just kind of stop and I just walk away and I give up.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why. Because I think I know that I'll criticize myself too much, and it's
Yeah.
like it's almost better to just not watch it and just never learn how to be a better actor, or just trust that I am doing better and not not
Yeah.
have to worry about how I look. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way to look at it. I mean, to be honest, it's one of the things that I feel like it's also very confusing to me because whenever I record all this and when it's time to edit, I always skip
Mm,
everything that I say and I just go into, okay, I'm going to listen to what my guest has said. I'm just going to ignore whatever I have said. I'm just going to just skip
oh,
through, just jump in right into the answer or whatever. It's very hard for me to listen to my own voice and look at what I'm saying and how I'm saying what my face is doing. I'm like, I'm just gonna ignore all that. I'm just gonna probably blur it
yeah.
out and go for it.
It's so funny how that works.
Yeah.
Um, but video games are great because a lot of times it's yeah, it just makes me it just I'm okay with how I sound, I guess, is
Hmm.
what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah. At least you don't have to worry about like I think you don't have to worry about like how you look and how you perform in some because at least in Mortal Kombat you just had to provide your voice and not exactly performance capture. So I think that made it a little easier for you to listen to your own work.
Yeah. And that's what I like. So I played it, and that's how I felt about Scorpion's chapter.
Hmm.
Is that I feel like they made me look good, even though I didn't perform it. Uh, like I just provided the voice, but they made him into such a badass.
Oh yeah.
Maybe because he's one of the faces of the franchise. Like
Hmm.
his chapter where he's kicking kicking butt, those kicking those undead stone army dudes.
Yeah.
Um, he was yeah, he was such a badass that I was like, you know, I have the privilege of like
That's me.
being yeah, that's kind of me, not really,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm also a badass in relation to it, sort of,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is cool,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned you get to finish the entire game? Have you finished the whole campaign and story?
I have. I finished story mode. I did the tower and invasion, all as Scorpion, because I had to.
Of course.
And I streamed it on Twitch. I have a Twitch, Daisuke Tsuji, Dicek2G. Uh, but yeah, and I feel like because invasions, there's going to be different chapters
Mm,
or
yeah.
whatever. But it was kind of cool because the first season was like all about Scorpion.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's start off with me. Great, yeah,
That's so cool. I mean,
yeah.
what did you think about like the whole story mode and how it was done? What are your thoughts on it?
On the story mode, yeah. So I know that there's like a debate that I'm not really gonna go into about the title of Mortal Kombat 1, because there's a part of me that's like, this is basically Mortal Kombat 12,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I understand why they went back to 1 because I think they didn't want to spoil it. They wanted that connection to Mortal Kombat 11 a kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
Um, and it is like who knows where it's gonna go, from here,
True.
as the story continues. So yeah, that's how I felt about it overall. And yeah, it's just so insane at the last chapter, the chapter 15, where
Oh my God. Yeah.
all these bad guys with like like combined
Yeah.
powers. Like this is so insane. But yeah, I feel like they did a great job of like making the fans happy and
Mm,
excited.
yeah.
There's a lot of nostalgia as well as, there's a lot of callback.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things to look forward to. And also, if you played the Invasion and seen that story,
Mhm.
because I feel like they wanted to answer a lot of the questions they had about Kuai Liang
Yeah.
versus Hanzo.
Yeah.
Uh, which I totally get, and yeah, and I like that the ending of Invasion, where where Liu Kang like tried to be a matchmaker
Yeah.
for like this really angry Hanzo. It's like, how about this one? She's violent. You should get along.
Yeah. I was never
Yeah.
expecting like, okay, that's okay, Liu Kang, what are you doing? it's,
Right. Right. Right.
it's crazy.
Um. Yeah. Because yeah, and then with different timelines, it's like
Mm.
I feel like the multiverse is kind of the thing right now. So
Oh
like
yeah.
everybody's doing it,
Yeah.
and well, yeah, but it also allows them to play with so many possibilities
Mm.
that the
True.
fans could be like, oh, that's cool,
Yeah, I didn't think that they will go in the multiverse kind of a route. I was like, okay, they're
Mhm.
also doing it. That's great. I think everybody's gonna jump into that. That's fun. But yeah, I never expected the story to go in that direction. But I really enjoyed it what they created. They created such a great, wonderful looking and it's a great story. Just like I really loved it. And the story is that just keeps on getting better. And that's the only reason I get to play because I'm so horrible at this game. Like I cannot if I
Oh
play
yeah,
like against anybody, like other than AI, if I can keep it on easy mode. But like if I
yeah,
play with anybody online, I'm just so bad at it. I know I'm gonna lose. So I
yeah,
better
yeah.
off with the story mode.
Yeah, and I like to, if I'm into a game, I like to try and get the platinum, trophy
Mm,
for the
nice.
game.
Yeah.
And usually it's not that hard. But with this one, like you said, I can't play against other people. I mean, I
Yeah.
can, but I will lose. And they can't, there's like a win-loss count.
Yes.
So it's like every time I play, I'm like, I'm just gonna be like 0 for 100 if I keep playing. So I don't know if I want to keep playing. That's gonna be embarrassing. But yeah, I don't know how I will ever get a platinum trophy for this game because some of it is about beating other people
Yeah.
online. It's like I don't know. Other people have to like let me win in order to get the platinum.
Yeah, it's insane. I was like, you guys could have like not include the real people in this and just kept it with the CPU players. It would be easier for us at least
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to get a platinum or something. And speaking of platinum, like what games have you actually platinum? Do you have like a list of games that or you have platinum everything that you've played?
No, not everything, obviously, because that's too many. So Ghost of Tsushima was my first platinum because
Oh wow,
before
yeah,
that I didn't really know about what a platinum was.
yeah,
So once I got it, I was like, oh, this is a thing, and it does make the gaming experience a little more challenging and more fun.
yeah,
You play it more thoroughly,
hmm,
and a lot of my trophies are PlayStation exclusives,
yeah,
like God of War, Horizon, Spider-Man. Not The Last of Us, not because I don't like it, but it's just so that some of the trophies are just too brutal. Like
yes,
Red Dead Redemption 2, I think you have to kill like 10 bears or something,
yeah.
or something that I'm like, I'm not doing that. I give up. I am not doing this.
Oh man.
um, so yeah, so the easy ones, Star Wars, Fallen Order, and Jedi Survivor, those are
Oh
like
yeah,
not too hard.
they're not too
Yeah,
hard. Yeah.
yeah, I like it when a platinum trophy is like,
Hmm.
give me one playthrough,
Yeah.
and yeah,
It's not like you have to do like I also don't like the fact that you have to okay it cannot be done in just that one playthrough. You have to play it again and you have to get
yeah,
this thing done and then it's gonna be platinum. I'm like I
yeah.
want to play that again, man. It's like it's become such a hard work. I'm like I'm not gonna platinum with that. Just forget
It
about it.
does become kind of a chore.
Yeah.
Even when I like enjoy the game, like Horizon, I love the game, but I know that it's gonna be a long journey if I play again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's why I'm like, yeah, yeah. But like Miles Morales, like
Hmm.
it's not that long, so
Yeah,
I
it's
think I
not.
played through that twice.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, they give you all kinds of incentives to play through it again,
hmm.
but
That's
sometimes
true.
it's not enough.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of like Ghost of Tsushima, how has that sort of changed? Has what has it been like after that game? Like, because that was a big role you played this amazing role. You had the motion capture done as well. So what has it been like after that game for you? Like, I know like a lot of people have big fans of Ghost of Tsushima. It just looks so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. It literally changed my life for sure. Yeah. Um, if any, like I've I've gained some celebrity status, right? I'm not saying that I'm a celebrity, but there's like a level to this thing. I
Yeah.
don't know what level I'm at. I'm definitely not like A list. Maybe I'm like C plus, C minus. I don't know.
I mean, I don't
But
know.
I'm
I
gonna
would probably not grade that, but I mean, you're great at Ghost of Tsushima, so I'll just say that definitely grading is something which is probably is gonna go very badly with
yeah.
me.
But it's funny, Lyle, like you think in terms of money, like
Mm,
there's always like a upper
yeah,
class and middle class. And I
yeah.
feel like even for a celebrity, whatever that means, there's a I'm a middle class celebrity, you know? I'm gonna be at New York Comic Con tomorrow,
Oh
which is
yeah.
very exciting. But I'm only there for one day, and yeah, so I get to like make a living off of being kind of a celebrity. I'm like I wouldn't have a following on Twitch, if it weren't for Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing Cameo. I'm doing Cameo. All of these things are great, but it's not like being a celebrity doesn't mean that you're automatically a millionaire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I'm just doing this so I can pay rent. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima has like before that, like none of this was possible.
Mm,
I wouldn't be going to conventions.
yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't have gotten Mortal Kombat if it weren't for Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
funny
mean,
story. Funny.
yeah, go
Sorry.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
quick story. When I got the Mortal Kombat, because they have all these code names,
Yeah.
and I was auditioning for like a couple of different roles. I think I was auditioning for Shang Tsung and Sub Zero, but the role I was auditioning for Scorpion, that character's name was Second Son, which I
Mm,
thought was interesting because
yeah.
Sucker Punch last game was infamous Second
Second
Son.
thought. Yeah.
So it's like, oh, that's kind of funny if I book this, and then I booked it. And so,
That's
but
great.
again, yeah, I wouldn't have gotten this role if I hadn't played Jin and Ghost.
Yeah, I mean that's such a great role and such a great game. I just that's one game where when I was playing it, I remember just like I don't know, I just kept on taking screenshots because the game just looked beautiful in every goddamn angle. I was like, I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
gonna play an hour. I'm just probably gonna stay here and take screenshots. The next step I take. It just looks so
Yeah.
beautiful, and I was like, "Damn it, this game! Can I finish it? I don't know." But I was like happy that I finished it instead of just taking screenshots. I took like hundreds of screenshots. It was just like too
Oh yeah,
beautiful to not take it. But like, yeah,
yeah.
your character was so great, and I just loved. And I was again, I'm bad with games, especially when it comes to fighting. I was still bad at killing anybody. I was like stances and stuff. I was just like, why am I not able to do it? But like, you did a phenomenal job with that, and I'm just so
Oh,
happy
thank you.
that that helped you out in getting Mortal Kombat because you did such a great job as Scorpion as well. And a lot of people. There was a point where a lot of people were talking about like, oh, which game should be winning like the game of the year thing and Ghost of Tsushima. I was so happy that Ghost of Tsushima was something that people are recognizing and people are trying it out because that's a game that I feel like should get a sequel and stuff like that. It would be super cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure Sucker Punch is a game developing company, so I'm sure they're working on something. But I don't know, yeah, what they're working on.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, the Ghost of Tsushima did such it did well, so I would assume that they'll come up with something that's similar,
Yeah.
in that franchise. But I have no idea. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I know like if we go back to Mortal Kombat, I know like they brought these characters for the DLCs and everything.
Mm.
Would you think like Jin would be able to be a part of like if that was the thing like Jin could be a part of Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, people like to say that on Twitter and Instagram, like, Jin, when is Jin gonna be on Mortal Kombat? I wonder. I learned so I thought that like it would have to be like a PlayStation exclusive character or skin,
I guess so. Yeah.
but apparently wasn't Kratos like once part of these Mortal Kombat? I might
I'm
be
not
wrong.
sure.
I don't know.
I'm not sure if he was in Mortal Kombat or anything, but he
Oh,
has
really?
been in like another game. I'm forgetting its name, but he's been in another game. But I don't know if that was a kind of like PlayStation exclusive or not, because I'm not
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
sure. But he was a part of like some game, some weird game that Kratos is a
Oh,
part
okay.
of, and I'm forgetting its name. But yeah, he was a part of it. But yeah, if I think if Jin was supposed to be brought in, maybe it becomes a PlayStation exclusive. But I would love to see him because I think he is like perfect to be in Mortal Kombat. Goes against Scorpion.
Yeah. Yeah, but also, and I don't know if that means like I would have to check in with like how if I'm like supposed to be paid if they use my likeness, or
Uh-huh.
even if they use the costume but not my face, like
Mm.
does that still I probably won't get paid in that case, probably because Jinsekai has always been not has been in the past. Probably been in. Has he been in Fortnite? I can't. I don't. Maybe not.
I
But
don't think so.
He has been in Fall Guys. I think.
It'd be crazy to like if the voice thing also comes along. Like okay, there's some lines that Jin also has to say. It'd be interesting to hear your voice as Jin and then your voice as Scorpion, and then going against each other.
Yes. And actually, there were some. I haven't listened to all of the intro lines in
Mhm.
Mortal Kombat, but I do remember them um, making Scorpion say things that Jin would say.
Oh,
Yeah, so that
wow.
there's a bit of an overlap.
Hmm.
I
That's
might be
interesting.
thinking of a different game, but I can't. I've worked on some games, so I
Yeah.
don't know if that for sure. But it would make sense. It would be kind of funny.
Wow.
Uh, yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, it could have been something else. It could have been Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, you
I
actually
think.
were a part of it in
Yeah,
Modern Warfare
it might have
2.
been that. It might have been that. I can't remember.
How is that like for you? Like Modern Warfare 2. Like that's Call of Duty is such a big, huge franchise. So
Yeah.
what was it like for you to like play a role in a game like that?
So that was my second role in Call of Duty because I was also in Black Ops
Mm,
4.
yeah.
Um, yeah, Call of Duty is a lot of yelling. So they like go really deep into character and they describe me like, okay, here's what this past is, all these character stuff. And then the lines are like grenade and like I don't know how am I supposed to think about character about how my I was
Yeah.
abandoned as a child and like grenade. I'm like that's not I don't know if that's coming through. So that that's interesting. Like character stuff is great, but then like if there's a grenade in front of you, like how many how many ways can I say grenade? You know
Oh
what I mean?
man, yeah. I mean, it's interesting how whenever they bring these characters like operators that players have to like choose and like select and then play, and they have like the most simplest and minimalistic lines, like one or two words, like as I mentioned, like grenade and reacting to something. And I
Yeah, yeah,
wish
yeah.
there was like more to it, like there was their own story thing that we could get to see instead of read. Would have been
Right.
a lot more better, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Call of Duty. They also have story modes that are really amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, not all the characters get to be that interesting.
Did you
Yeah,
get to play Call of Duty as well?
that I can't get into.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't know how to shoot, point and shoot.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. With the controller, it's very hard for me to do anything. So that's why I
yeah,
just play on keyboard and mouse, and that's a little easier for me.
yeah. Was there a Vanguard? Call of Duty
Yeah,
Vanguard?
Call of Duty
Was that a
Vanguard.
game?
Yeah.
I did play that one because I was voting for about the BAFTA Game
Mm,
Awards. I
mm.
was yeah, voting for that, so I had to play a bunch of these games, and I did play Call of Duty Vanguard. Um, but yeah, I think always like story mode is great,
Yeah.
but yeah, when you're fighting with other people, um, yeah, the only game I play online is Ghost of Tsushima Legends.
Want to end this conversation with just like one thing, and that is like I just want to like five random questions that I want to ask you. Would be completely random about certain things.
Okay.
So all right. So is there a song that that you never get bored of? Like you could easily go back into it. Like I'm always going to listen to this song, and it's always going to be great for you.
Oh wow, a song? Um, well, I'm gonna go with my best friend Jane. Her musician name is Soraya, Surrija, and I'm gonna see her live in Seattle
Oh
on
wow.
Monday. But uh, yeah, she has some great songs in her album. But I think one of my favorites is Barcelona, her song.
Okay.
Yeah, I never really get tired of that album.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I gotta listen to that then. I gotta take a look.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm definitely gonna
So,
listen to that. Is there a movie that recently that you watched that you really liked?
a recent movie.
A recent movie, yeah.
So I've been writing again, and I'm trying to do more research on indie films. So the recent one I watched was Past Lives.
Oh,
It's in the theaters, select theaters probably now, and that was yeah, it was really beautiful. A lot of the moments, like the beautiful moments, are when they're not speaking, which is like it was really interesting. Yeah, it's a beautiful story. Um, yeah, and recently I was on a plane, and they had Parasite again. Like I just wanted to see like I don't know if that's an indie film, but
hmm.
um, that one was too like I yeah, that
Yeah.
reminded me how much I like that movie. Um, yeah,
Yeah, Parasite is like a movie I know like it was so popular when it came out and there was like everybody wanted like this is a movie you gotta watch and I was like okay and I was like blown away with what they did with that movie. It's such an incredible movie. Um,
yeah.
it,
When I sorry, what?
no, no, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
You go ahead.
Like okay, my next question was like, if you had the ability to make a video game yourself, what
Oh,
would you want it to be about?
what does it be about? Uh, the first thing that comes to mind is well, I mean it's already made, but you know the game Inside,
Yeah.
in the game, like something like that where there isn't any words, but
Mm,
like the stories being told.
yeah.
Something that's very mysterious. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I can't just come up with an idea in the moment.
Yeah, I can understand.
Uh, but like another game I'm thinking of is like Prey. That
Oh,
came out recently, where you
yeah.
get to play as a cat. Like it's a very simple idea that like yeah a group of a big group of people would love. It's like you get to play as a cat. That's amazing. Here's my
Yeah.
money. Um, but yeah, something about the end of the world probably.
Yeah.
Maybe about something about end of the world is coming and you're trying to save the universe. Something like really outlandish like that. Like the universe is literally going to die
Yeah.
and you have to save it.
Ah, that's not bad actually. I mean, you mentioned about Inside, and I really actually like that game. That game is something that really I'd never expected to make me feel that way. It was like a little creepy at times and was really
Yeah.
disturbing at times. It was like, how is this game? Like, how am I getting interested in this game? Like, there's no dialogue. It's just whatever I'm seeing is just so interesting. I want to know more and play more. I just
Yeah,
never expected the game to have that.
it's haunting and you have a lot of questions about how that world works.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, those are the kind of the best games, the best stories, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely. If you had the ability to like travel back in time, is there a place you
Mm.
would want to go back to?
Whew. Um, oh, that's a good question. Um, I don't know. Keep moving forward. So I can't think of
Yeah.
maybe back in my, I don't know, probably back in my 20s,
Oh,
just to
really?
probably, if I knew what I knew now,
Oh.
I don't know, I would do things differently, probably. I would like speed up the process somehow. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know. But there's no like specific moment that I can think of to be like to relive, you mean, or to change?
I mean, you can do anything. You just have to go. You can like you have the ability now to go back in time. Like the I
Right.
assume that you have like a probably a place that you want to probably go back and see how things were, or as you mentioned, going back to your 20s and probably changing some things. That'd be kind of
Yeah.
cool to see. Like, okay, maybe if we change this, like, you might end up in a completely different place. You know?
Yeah. 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 I mean, we live in a very interesting time right now, you know, and
Yeah.
I feel like something in some ways like things are better, like with inclusion and diversity. I think
Mm.
things are getting better as far as the industry is concerned. So if I think in that terms, like I don't want to go back, you know,
Mm.
like I would this face would not be doing well in the past. Um, but then there are certain things like climate change and end of the world and stuff like that where I'm like I don't want to know what the future is like in that way.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's a big
Yeah.
hypothetical question.
What are kind of like a piece of advice that you would like to give to anybody who is like trying to get into voice acting or trying to get into video games as a voice actor? Is there a piece of advice that you would like to give to anybody?
Um, yeah, I would say just have an open mind and do everything that you're passionate about, because I would not have gotten the role of Jin had I just done voiceovers.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
got the role because of my theater background, uh, my movement background. So, yeah, try to learn as much as possible. Just be curious, stay curious, and keep learning, and not get focused and bogged down on one goal.
Mm.
If you love video games, that's great, but it'd be great, if you write as well. Maybe you like improv, maybe you want to try that, or stand up. There's so
Mhm.
many different ways um, to be an artist, to tell stories. So that's what I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great, actually. I think that's something that a lot of people, as you mentioned, like you should not get stuck at one thing. Just try different things
Hmm.
and see what works out and what you're more passionate about, I guess. I think the passion kind of changes and shifts and kind of morphs into a different way when you try different things, and then you really figure out like what you really want to do or what you really enjoy a lot more. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, and different aspects of storytelling, right? Because there's
Yeah,
writing, there's directing, there's designs.
yeah.
There's yeah, so many ways to get involved. Yeah, because I didn't, when I got the role of Jim, like I wasn't planning to be. My dream wasn't to become a main character in a video game.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but now that I have it, it is a dream come true.
Yeah.
It's a dream that I didn't know I had.